Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. And here it is, the 2023 regular season schedule and also preseason schedule for the Tennessee Titans. It just dropped, it just went down. We're going to go game by game, way too early here, analyze the schedule just a little bit. Won't be here too long because I actually have a flight that I have to catch tonight. But I'm sure that you'll find plenty of articles and other videos doing the same. So, just quickly looking at the preseason, just very briefly looking at the preseason and what we have there. So, we have in the preseason, and the exact dates are not scheduled for that yet, but we have at Chicago, at Minnesota, and against New England. Not really much to say there. I'm not really particularly interested about seeing any other players on the other teams. So we're not facing like any interesting rookie quarterbacks or anything. It's just going to be our quarterback, and I guess Bailey Zappi against New England. That's all I'd really care to see. With that said, let's go ahead. It's kind of awkward. I'm looking to the left, to your left, but it's on my right here. But we're just going to roll with it. So we have at New Orleans, week 1. This was the rumor. And currently, and let me move this a little bit out of the frame. Currently, I have very mixed feelings as it pertains to the New Orleans Saints. I know some people are very excited about the New Orleans Saints and their potential this season. I know some people are very low on the New Orleans Saints this season. I think they're going to be a middling team. I think they'll compete with the Falcons to win the division. I think the Panthers will get a little frisky in there as well. I think the Bucs are going to stink. But to be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about the Saints right now in terms of their offense. I mean, Derek Carr's coming in there. He's an improvement at quarterback, but I don't know about the health of Michael Thomas. Chris Olave is a beast. Kamara's been on the decline. The offensive line isn't looking great. The defense isn't looking great. This is a game that we could easily win. It's 50-50. Because we're on the road here, I'd feel a little inclined to go with New Orleans, but you know what? I think we're actually going to win this game right now. I'm going to say that we win week 1 against New Orleans, even though I think New Orleans probably ends up with a better record than us. I think Mike Vrabel's team, who will probably still have Tannehill and Henry starting, will actually come out pretty strong and prepared and win week 1. Week 2, we have the LA Chargers at home. Man, we're facing the Chargers so consistently, it feels like. And, they beat us in what was a very frustrating game last year. It was at 17-14. I feel like we'll see a similar thing here. It's always a chance that the Chargers don't show up. It could be a 2-0 start, but I'm going to say 1-1 here to be safe. Then we travel to Cleveland to face the Cleveland Browns. It's not a bad start to the schedule. I mean, even though I think the Chargers are a strong team, they're probably going to be an 11-win team. These are all 3 very winnable games, very winnable games. Cleveland, I don't love with Deshaun Watson right now. I think they're figuring it out. Kareem Hunt, who was effective for them, is just out on the street, which is interesting. I would re-sign him. I don't know if he's been problematic in the locker room. I guess he kind of has been. And I like their draft, but they really didn't do much in free agency. So to me, they're about the same team that they were last year. And are we. I'm going to have us here. So I'm going to have us actually winning at Cleveland. So I think we're going to win 2 of our first 3 road games and 2 of the first 3 games on the road. And then we host Cincinnati, where the Bengals are one of the best teams in the NFL. They've been having success against us relatively. I mean, they've beaten us twice in a row now. Now, the games actually haven't been that bad, but they've beaten us twice in a row now. I have to have Cincinnati beating us again. I think, they're getting comfortable with us and facing us. I'm going to go with Cincinnati to beat us in Nashville. So I don't know how many of you guys want to go to some of these upcoming games because I don't know how it's going to be. We have week 5 at Indianapolis, where at this point, Anthony Richardson should be starting and familiarizing himself with that Indianapolis Colts offense. It's interesting. It's not terrible. I mean, I think we're going to split with the Colts this year for sure. But because it's going to be Anthony Richardson's early games, I'm going to have us winning this one. So 3-2, not as bad as some of you might have thought I would have thought. Then we go to face the Baltimore Ravens in London. No, we're not going to beat the Ravens, especially on a neutral field. I think the Ravens are going to be at least an 11-win team, probably 12 or 13. They actually got Lamar weapons. He's back invigorated. The defense looks really good. I think the Ravens are very scary. I think they're now up there with the Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs. I really do. I don't think we're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens. So 3-3 heading into the bye. So Will Levis, although I said in my previous video, depending on the first 6 games, this might be a good opportunity for Will Levis to start. If we start 3-3 and Tannehill's playing fine, I don't think Will Levis would start here. I don't think so. Then we host Atlanta after a bye, which I really like hosting Atlanta after a bye. So this schedule worked out actually pretty well for us very early in this schedule. After a bye, hosting Atlanta. They're going to run the ball at us, assuming we're still healthy at this point in the season. I think the Falcons are another one of those teams that are going to have a better record than us. But I'm going to have Atlanta. I'm going to have us beating Atlanta here. Then we travel to Pittsburgh on a Thursday. And if you know this franchise, look, I know it's a different regime under Kenny Pickett. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust us winning in Pittsburgh unless if we got someone named, I don't know, Steve McNair under the helm. That's really about it. I don't love our chances. You gotta go Pittsburgh, especially on us facing Pittsburgh on a Thursday night. No, or unless we have Keith Bullock, which we don't. So I have Pittsburgh. So 4-4. Then after a break, we face the Bucks. Now I think the Bucks stink, and I think, we're not that much better, but I think the Bucks stink. So I am going to go at Tampa Bay. It'll be interesting. They could be sneaky here, though. I'm going to say because I've been picking us to win a lot of road games. So far, I picked us to win 3 of the first 4. I'm going to say we lose here in a surprising loss, one of the few wins that the Bucks have this year, but it could easily be a win. At Jacksonville, we're going to play with Jacksonville at the very least. I'll give them at Jacksonville here. So we're still 500. Are we 500 at this point? Or actually, I said, what I just say, a loss, so we're just under 500. I think now I have us at 5-6. We now host the Carolina Panthers. Wait, is that right? I guess, is that 1, 2, 3? I should have actually wrote this down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I think I'd actually have us 4-6 at this point. Okay, so it's not looking great. So here come the Carolina Panthers, now this is where Bryce Young's going to pick up a little bit of speed. So that's scary to me, as I think the Panthers might end up winning that division. It would not shock me at all if the Panthers end up winning that division, and this would be where they really start to catch fire. So I wouldn't love this at all, actually. I would not love this. This is where our schedule is going to be very interesting and get very difficult. Even though I see like a couple home games coming up, this is one you'd really like to have, especially assuming that you beat Indianapolis earlier in the year, which is, again, what I've had so far. So we're just going to stick with that. I feel like we lose this one, guys. I just feel like at this point, the Panthers are going to be kind of rolling, and this might be where we start reeling. So I'm going to have the Panthers winning this one, even in Nashville. And then we face the Colts, where here's the trap game. This is where, to me, like I said, I think the Colts are going to start rolling. I think the Colts are going to start rolling a little bit. They're not going to win more than 6 games this year, but I don't know how many more we're going to win. And this is where I feel like at this point, an older Tannehill and even maybe an older Henry, God forbid, and our weak wide receiver core and our poor depth, this is where in the schedule it's going to start to show to me. So I had us beating the Colts earlier in the year, but I have us losing here. Then we travel to Miami, and it all depends if Tua Tagovailoa is healthy at this point in the season. I'm going to assume that he is. Oh my God, this would be 5 straight losses for us. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I have it happening. All right, so I have yet another loss there. Then we host Houston. Okay, we bounce back with a win. Then we host Seattle, and Seattle is interesting because Seattle, I like them. I mean, they're pretty stacked. I mean, now you're talking about 2 corners. You're talking about 3 wide receivers deep. unless they just come in here, I'm like, oh my God, Kenneth Walker. I mean, they're building something. I have to have us losing here at Houston. So this would be a big one. I really want to go on record and say that we're gonna go 3-3 in the AFC South. Like, I don't want to say we're gonna be worse or better than that. I think either way, that's kind of a crazy thing to say. So I really should say loss here, but I'm also being a bit harsh later in this season. Maybe I should have gave us the win against Tampa Bay. I already said I wouldn't, but I'm gonna renege on that because well, let me stick with my word. I feel like we're gonna split up all the teams in the AFC South, so I'm gonna say a loss at Houston, and then I'll have us beating Jacksonville at home. So if you count that, that's 3-3 against the AFC South. We beat the Saints, we beat the Browns, we beat Atlanta, and so that's 6-11, which I really, 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 really feel. And then to make it 7-10, it would be if we don't choke against the Bucks and we beat the Bucks. In order for you playoff hopefuls, and they are the playoff hopefuls that are out there for sure. If you are one of the Titans fans that still believe that we can compete for the playoffs and, win this year, compete for the AFC, we have to go a little bit better in the AFC South than I'm expecting. So, we win an extra game against Houston or Indianapolis, but if you think we're going to sweep both of them, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. That happened last year, right? It's not going to happen this year. Forget about it. And Jacksonville's going to beat us at least once. I'm sorry. If they're healthy, I'm sorry. And then the other swing games that I can see, we're not beating the Bengals. We're not beating the Ravens. Even though the Bengals are coming to us, we're not beating them. I mean, we could beat Carolina for sure. And then I can't see Miami or Houston. I can't see Miami or Seattle. For me, Miami, if they're healthy. Miami, Seattle, Baltimore, Cincinnati, I can't see. Chargers, I can see if they come in here and choke. Also, Pittsburgh, I can't see. Those 6, I just can't see. So there's no way. So, and that's 11-6 is your best case scenario. If I'm really wrong there, maybe, yeah. So for those of you hopefuls that's out there, for me, as of today, I'm saying 6-11 or 7-10. I'm saying 6-11. I know that's not gonna excite a lot of people, but again, I feel like as we get into this schedule, 35-year-old Tannehill, he's going to get hurt at some point. Levis is going to come in, struggle a little bit. We struggle down the stretch with a Carolina that's going to be getting better. Indianapolis getting better. At Miami. Houston getting better, but at least we have them at home. We can beat them at home. Seattle, at Houston, Jacksonville. That last little stretch there, and the at Jacksonville before that Carolina game, that's going to make or break the schedule. But I think we're going to get off to a fine start. I mean, I had us starting 4-4. And then Pittsburgh hurt, and then down the stretch, I think that's what hurt us. And, I could be wrong on this. Again, it's way too early. But for those of you that wanted the primetime games, congratulations. You got 2. We got the one that obviously you're going to get was the Thursday night, fortunately against the Steelers. We'll see if we can put up points against them. We did, was it the last time? I think it was the last time we did, but not nearly enough because they put up so many points on us. That was 2020. Was that the last time we faced them? We faced them after that. Oh, yeah, we did. We faced them, and we beat them, actually, the last time we faced them. But I don't feel comfortable going to Pittsburgh on a Thursday night. Nah, especially with me expecting them to be better than us this year, I don't feel comfortable with that. So there are winnable games here. For sure, you're happy to not see, an at San Francisco, at Philly, at Kansas City, at Buffalo. We're avoiding the best teams in the league. The best teams that we're facing, it's the Bengals and the Ravens for the whole schedule. I think Seattle's, good, 10-11 win team, as is Miami, so I just can't have us beating them. Chargers, because they have a propensity to choke, I can. And, New Orleans could end up being 10. I mean, Seattle probably will as well. We'll see. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. Again, it's not bad enough. Although we, talked about these discussions of tanking and whether or not we tank for Caleb Williams, I never said, I said it's possible that when the schedule came out and with this roster that I'd look at the schedule and I would just say, no, it's 3-14. Forget about it. Now, if injuries pile up, and we have to throw in Levis in there earlier, and he stinks, and, offensive line isn't as more improved as we thought it was going to be, then that's, obviously doomsday scenario. But for right now, 6-11, 7-10, same team roughly as it was last year. And I know people want to blame last year's demise on Tannehill's injury and other injuries, which is fine. You can do that. I think it's just what our team is now. We lost 7 straight games. Not 1, not 2, not 7. 7. We lost 7 straight games, trending in the wrong direction. But I do think it's going to be a 4-4 start, and I think that can keep some of you happy for at least that time period. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Titans 2023 schedule. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and most importantly to subscribe. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.